Now, the amount of times I've sat here and went, look, just rub it off, move on. Sticks and stones may break your bones and names will never hurt you. But when they're coming at you in like gang stalking, it's not really a particular phrase or whatever, it's just like one of them social media invented phrases, but it's very relevant to me. And gang stalking is basically when you're getting a group of 10 people coming at you. Bam, 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 bam. And these 10 people have got something like 2 email sites with 4 different Instagram sites on the one email. So when you're blocking that or blocking their comments, they're just... And then they just expose me your address on live feed, and then they're just weird. They're just strange people, aren't they? In my 12 years in custody, I touched down in 88 establishments. And I touched some of them twice in a year. You know, the same establishment. Or went back 2 years later or whatever. But if you do the maths, and what they were doing with me was this, similar to what they're probably doing to that kid, is every time I got settled, which was like a 3-month period, like the induction period, every time you got settled, every time you started flowing, everything was falling into place with you, you were moving with the kids from the area, and it's bang, onto the next gaff, another induction process, another security assessment, and bam, 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 all of a sudden you get assessed, everything's sweet, dish, 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 dish. It's with your head. Proper ruins on head psychologically. And you can see what I've got, for some mad reason, when the ID cards came into the prison system, I kept some. So see like that. This was an original ID card from HMP Birmingham, what all the prisoners get. The picture's not the same because I've covered it with like one from when I'm out. But you see all this. That is an original HMP Birmingham prisoner's ID card, which was mine when I was in Birmingham on my sentence. And you can see every time I was getting shipped to other prisons, you'd get the card, and I'd normally keep the card in my property. And near the end of my sentence, I had loads. But when I got out, I lost loads and only had so many. But you can see when I'm looking fresh, and then you can see when I'm looking fresh. Then you see where my head's gone a little bit. Then you can see where I'm back on the ball. Then you can see where I'm a little underweight. Then you can see where I'm looking. So there's like 6 different cards, which shows you exactly what being transferred, and on purpose, deliberately being transferred in an effort to get your head up. And the majority of the time when I was being transferred left, right and centre, it was down to the police getting in touch with the local, getting in touch with the OMU departments of the establishment I was in and saying he's got to be moved for gang culture or this, that and the other, and I'd just be shit. So for example, anyone else who got an 18-year prison sentence, the process will have been, so for example, I was on remand in Walton for 6 or 7 months. It was just getting messy in there. There were just too many of us in there, and the doors were open, the screws wouldn't do everything. So I got a security ship out, ended up in Strangeways. And while I'm in there, I'm on remand for 2.5 years in Strangeways. You're on it. I think he had one incident in there where some brummie has took a hit out on me, come from behind with snooker balls in a sock whilst I was sat down getting my hair cut. Whacked me with the snooker balls in the sock. So I took it, jumped up off the chair, spun round, there's 4 of them there with socks. Some have got tuna tins in socks, and others have got pool balls. I'm just there, dazed off the one that hit me, this rabbi from Birmingham, from Wolverhampton actually, rabbi. He had 2 balls in his socks, so when it hit me on the top, he had me head swim. So I've jumped up and I'm still dazed off it. I've got the mirror. You can have these little square mirrors in prison, and you hold them and watch your hair getting cut. It was down when they come behind me. I don't know what this little dickhead was doing from Garston, but you know. So anyway, I've jumped up, turned round, launched the mirror at them, started like spinning at them. They've all panicked. They were expecting me to go down and just weigh me in with all the socks with the weapon. Yeah, they've all just bailed, locked themselves in cell doors. There's blood up everywhere and that. So anyway, what's meant to happen is when you get your 18-year sentence, a long term, you'll go in, you get remanded. Once you've been convicted, whatever the sentence is, whether it's life or whether it's 3 years or 6 months, you'll be assessed. You'll go back to the remand centre that you've come from, and you'll be assessed what category prisoner you should be. If they suggest that you should be a Cat A because of your notoriety and your funds and stuff like this, then you'll go to Cat A establishments within 12 weeks of you being sentenced. If you're not, you'll probably remain in Cat B's training prisons, Cat B dispersals, like Swaleside, places like that, into Cat B trainers, like Loudon Grange and under Gartree and places like that. It's all changed now. I'm talking about when I was in the custody system, in the custodial settings, or the prison system. But you'd go in there, if you were a Cat A, you'd do a few years. If you got a release date, you're more likely going to go through the categories faster than a lifer would. I never had a life sentence or the L plates. I had a long terminous sentence. So I never got categorised into a cat, although Strangeways tried on 2 occasions to get me a-catted off. They got told straight by the justice system, he's not that type of individual. So I never got Cat A'd off. So I went through the B training system. I went through likes of Woodhill, Loudon Grange, Wormwood Scrubs, Swaleside, Dovegate, Hull. I was just getting shipped to all my gaffs. And because Danny, my younger brother, is a crazy prisoner, very destructive. The prison system are like car sales rooms, if you like. When they get phoned and go, yo, you've got Thingio coming, some of them say, we don't want him in here. So when they're shipping you out to gaffs you can get to. But, you know, you land in there, as soon as you land there, you get put through this induction process. The induction process is where you've got a load of prisoners chatting you like the not on vacation. You just got to take it because they run the wing you land on. Everything's sweet. You go through a few snide health and safety courses. You get allocated this, you get allocated a job if you're lucky. And then you just sat there like a min for 3 weeks and then get shipped out before you get on any decent course. Long-termers do two or 3 years in a BCAT. If they act accordingly, if they don't break any rules, don't get involved in the drug culture or the gang culture and mobile phone culture, they progress into the CCAT. You can get like a tight CCAT or you can get like an open CCAT. Depending on how you've been in the BCAT will depend on what type of CCAT you get to. That'll take you 2 or 3 years depending on your sentence. I'm talking about double figures. So if you're on double figures, you'll spend a 3. If you're over a 10, if you've got to do over a 10 in the system and you've got a release date, you'll do about a 3 in the Cat B depending on your remand. Then you'll go into a CCAT. If you've been doing what you're meant to do, acting accordingly, meeting your sentence plan targets, not getting involved in nuggets on the wings, being a clever kid, getting out. You've got the possibility for the last 3 years, 2 months, I think it is, to get yourself considered for the Cat D. That was my plan. Never happened for me, mates. Although I met all my sentence plan targets, the only sentence plan targets they gave me was offending behaviour programmes. And you've got to complete them. And the offending behaviour programmes really do help, but they don't help. They can help, I should say. They can help, but they don't help. They don't help. I'm trying to think of a word to explain. So the offending behaviour programs that you get in there, some used to be called ETS, some used to be called, it was all mad ones, they all got changed, calm, all this mad. They don't work on experienced criminals. They don't work on people that's been in and out of prison for violent offences. They will not work on kids who are in the YOI system. They just don't work. All they do is give you a better way of understanding how to commit, or how to plot, or how to plan, or how to think in a different way. That's all offending behaviour programs do. And what they say, I've always asked them, why aren't these taught to kids outside before they come into custody? And you know what one or two of them said? Because it makes the kids dangerous. When in my eyes, it doesn't really make them dangerous. It makes them understand exactly what they're doing with their actions. You know, half of the kids these days haven't got a clue what consequences mean. Some have. Loads haven't. And this is the sort that you speak about on offending behaviour programs.